Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Glad everybody's here. Hope you're having a good Friday. It's been nice today and not very cold. And tomorrow looks like it'll be cloudy, I guess, and chances of maybe some flurries, snow flurries, or whatever you want to call it. So weather's okay as well here. Excuse me. I have, if you go on my Ordinary Talk list of videos that I have, I posted one that's from NBC News, okay? I can't put it on a video that I'm making because it's copyrighted, but this video is 33 minutes long, and it's an interview of some of the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. Pretty powerful stuff because they were being interviewed after the hearings they just had with Pam Bondi, where they were in there witnessing Pam Bondi's bullshit. Okay, so they interviewed these what is it, 6 people, I guess, and the things they had to say were pretty powerful. So I wanted to discuss that, but I need you, if you haven't seen it, to go and look at it. It's on my list of videos here. I think it's at the top of the page. So go look at that, and then come back and we can watch. You can hear more of my stuff on it. Okay. If you've seen, just watch the video. I gotta say that when it comes to the crime of sex trafficking, which is an underground thing, so it's really not accepted pretty much anywhere in the world except by those people who are willing to pay big money to do the nasty, illegal act, okay? But when it comes to sex trafficking of minors, okay, along with all the plethora of sexual assaults involved in that, okay, it shouldn't matter if you're a prince, a billionaire, or the President of the United States. If you're one of the offenders, you shouldn't be allowed any latitude, by investigators to be held accountable. Okay, everyone in America, regardless of political leanings, has disdain for sex offenders. I mean, they just hate them. Okay, it crosses party lines. Nobody out there is willing to say, "Oh, I support sex." Okay, no, everybody knows it's sick. Okay, when some put politics over the crime, you got corruption, right? Is everyone following me there on that? Okay, that's what Pam Bondi was doing at that hearing. She was putting politics over the crimes. Even while the victims themselves were sitting 2-3 rows behind her, she was sitting there putting her fucking, covering her ass and trying to spin things around like, it doesn't really matter and yada yada, okay? And, and she's like, "Oh, well, why aren't we talking about the Dow?" Or something like that. Meaning to say, I don't give a shit about the victims. Okay? So, what more proof do you need that she's corrupt? That she represents an administration that's corrupt? Because if it wasn't, they would have fired her the day after that fucking hearing, okay? They would have, but they didn't. She's still there. She still has the job. Okay, so that speaks volumes with the Trump regime. And, you know, it's been my belief that we're supposed to protect our country from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Okay, we have a lot of domestic enemies in America, and it's way, way past time to take them out. Okay, basically to remove them from power, to, you know, get them out, take them out, because look, the longer they stay in there, the more scandal continues, the more injustice continues, and it's you know, the rest of the world sees this much more clearly than Americans do. Okay, they can see we got a problem here, and it's a dangerous problem, and a problem, and if we don't nip it in the bud, okay, it could explode in our face. And unfortunately, we didn't nip it in the bud, so now it could explode in our face. Okay, when you got the Attorney General of the United States making light of a sex crime involving minors at the time, where are her values? Where is her sense of morality, or her fucking scruples? Where are those? You know, it just doesn't exist. What kind of what kind of family was she brought up in to feel that way? You know, I thought women stood up for each other. Nope, they don't. Not if they got something better going on that, you know, they don't want to lose, right? It's every man, every woman for himself or herself. That's the kind of society we have now, and I saw that coming back in the 80s. Hooray for me, to hell with you. Remember that? For those of you my age, that was the saying back then. Okay, everybody was out for themselves. And now those same people sit, you know, in our government. They had kids who grew up with that philosophy pounded in their head, that you, in order to get ahead, you gotta, you know, trample on the people ahead of you. Okay, and right now, Pam Bondi doesn't want to lose her cushy little job there that she's got with Trump, not realizing that Trump at any moment could throw her under the bus just to distract away from himself. You know, by Pam Bondi's becoming the worst public enemy over Trump, then he can get rid of her, and everyone he'll buy himself more time, so they won't be talking about the Epstein crap. Okay, they'll point somebody else to continue the stonewalling, to go on and on with that. Okay, but in the meantime, we're not going after Trump. He's the one involved in the crime. Okay, stop talking to the lawyer. Talk to the goddamn criminal. Okay, that's the person we need to fucking go after. We need to come down hard on that man, because we know he committed crimes. He knows that we know that he committed crimes. And it frustrates him to no end that he can't seem to dodge that shadow that hangs over his head. That I don't know why he thought he could. You know, for as many years as he was associated with Epstein, it should have been a foregone conclusion that, you know, hey, there's no way I'm going to be able to get away from this. I mean, this is going to stain my life forevermore. Okay, for what? How long did he know Epstein? Decades? Okay, that's a big chunk of your life given away to a fucking criminal. But being a criminal himself, it didn't matter. But the fact is, he thought it would just go away. But the problem is the longer he did it, the more victims he accumulated, and the more of a betrayal he left behind, because he felt he could get away with it, so he didn't care about covering up his ass. Okay, he just kept doing it. So that's why I say the evidence is abound out there. I mean, there's enough evidence there to convict 15 Trumps right now on these crimes. Okay. And there's no reason in the fucking world why the Democrats ought to be sitting on this bomb here and not doing something with it. Clearly. You know, what more of a gift do they need to get rid of a corrupt president? I mean, Jesus Christ, they went after Nixon harder than this. You know? And I just feel like, you know, where is the justice? Where is our our justice, and why the fuck are we giving Ghislaine Maxwell, special treatment? Because she's, why? Because she's sitting on a ton of names that she knows. I mean, she's blackmailing the whole country. I mean, talk about national security gone crazy. Okay, everybody, the Trump is out there talking about protecting national security. Well, you got a person right now who could end Trump sitting in prison. She could do irreparable damage to the government, given what she knows, apparently. And so that's why she's getting all this preferential treatment, which means he's trying to butter her bread so that way she won't talk. That means he knows something, or he did something bad and she knows it. Okay? But, but if we want her to talk, okay, if we want her to talk, we're going to have to basically blackmail her if it's possible. Okay? We have to turn the tables on her, where she could be looking at, the death penalty or something like that. If you don't talk or something, we'll charge you with all these fucking crimes. You'll take the heat. Okay? You'll be hit with all the crimes that Trump did. It's going to land on you. And then you're going to have to, the punishment will fit the crime. Maybe if the Justice Department, twist the screws on her thumb some more, she might talk. Okay? And if she talks, well, then she'll, bring to light a lot of things. And like I said, if she for some reason ends up dead, then we will know for an absolute certainty that Trump had something bad to hide. So, like I said, the killing of Jeffrey Epstein himself in this weird way that it happened, they say, he committed suicide. Bullshit. Okay, that right there should have been a signal that, yeah, there's something going on there. Okay? Who arranged that? But if it happens again with Ghislaine Maxwell, you know damn well he's behind it. Who else who would have the fucking motive, right? Bigger than Trump. I mean, yeah, he's got a lot of wealthy buddies that were in on it. Okay, I hear that the prince there, or the former prince, or whatever the hell he is now, the brother to the king, I can't remember his fucking name. It ain't worth remembering anyway. He's a piece of shit. Anyway, they're after him again because, they're pissed off that of the things that he did with Jeffrey Epstein. They're going after him and everything. So it's like, why can they deal with this and we can't? Why? Because he's not the prime minister? He's not the actual king? Is that the reason why it's easier to go after the king's brother here? Over this matter? I mean, I feel like, the British seem to have their morals in the right place to make people who commit crimes responsible for their actions. But over here, it's like it's become okay to just turn a blind eye to people doing that, especially when you got a mountain of evidence that shows they were involved heavily with it. Okay? It seems like too many people in America are willing to turn a blind eye, yet those same people will bitch about somebody like Bill Cosby, okay? Or, that director there from Hollywood, Weinstein. They'll bitch and complain about these people committing, sexual harassment or whatever, okay? They come out in droves to bring these people down, but yet when it's our own goddamn president, everything, all reason, all logic goes straight into dumpster. There is no fucking logic behind it. Hypocrisy. It's like, where are these fucking people now that want to condemn and put in prison all the sex offenders out there? Where's the religious right in that situation? They're nowhere to be found. Okay? Now, I ain't saying they're all doing it. I mean, some people have decided that, yeah, I guess, we shouldn't have been backing him to begin with. It'll come to the party a little too late. But apparently, they did have some issue when this first come out, that they had a problem with that internally, whether or not they should still support Trump. And finally, they decided not to support him. Okay? But this is really an issue here now, where England is dealing with this problem and making strides on that, And we're still here at square one. Okay? And we got evidence piling up on us to say, hey, what more do you fucking need? I mean, thousands and thousands of fucking emails, all kinds of fucking history. I mean, Jesus H. Christ. I mean, to have a thorough trial about this would take forever because of all the evidence we got. Okay? I mean, I don't understand how there isn't a fucking movement like you wouldn't believe. This scandal dwarfs anything that happened in this country's past for a scandal. Okay? It really does. It's like somebody had said, it's probably the biggest scandal this country has ever seen. Okay? Because of all the lengths that Trump is going through to try and hide this and, distract us from it. I mean, he's actually committing crimes outside of the United States to keep us, pivoting to looking at that and not thinking about what he did wrong years ago. Okay? So, if there's victims out there, there could be many more victims alive and victims dead from the things that Trump and Epstein had done. Okay? And I would think that if there was any good reason why this man is so paranoid about people bringing this topic up, it's because there are some dead bodies out there, probably from involved in that fucking sex trafficking ring that went around globally. Okay, it involved billionaires, millionaires, and people in stature, and even celebrities. Okay, even celebrities. There's a list of names in there for people involved in it. People who had money enough to do these things, to get drugs and to get women, and then do what they wanted with it. Okay, so yeah, it's a sickening thing that our country is at a standstill. When we were so hard pressed to get rid of, put them on the fucking register so we know who they are. We don't want them living next door to us, and we don't want these people in our neighborhoods. People would go out and protest. Oh, we got a pedophile living next door. Well, I want him out. Can't put him near a school where there's kids. He's got to live somewhere, in the boondocks, so he's not around any playgrounds or schools. I mean, we were so fucking energized to cut these people off from society because of their crime. And now we got one of them in the White House. And where are these people now? Where are these people now? Trump's name should be in the register, the sex offender register. His name should be in there prominent, along with Ghislaine Maxwell and all the other people that were involved in that. But I don't think you're going to find that in there, will you? I mean, I don't know if some of you have any access to the sex offender registry. I haven't got any access to it. I just, that's not something I want to look at. But I bet if you go on there and you look up some of these celebrities or something that's been named in the fucking files, the Epstein files, you're not going to find them in that registry. No. But there should be more of an unofficial registry made by you, the people, even if people that haven't gone to trial yet for their crimes ought to be put in there. Okay? There needs to be a registry there for that, I think. People should put it there. And, I feel like without public pressure on this process, the wheels are not going to turn. Okay? They just aren't. Because Trump's got his fucking tendrils into every aspect of our government to the point where it doesn't want to move. Okay? He's even got Democrats, pissing in their pants. I mean, what has he got? Epstein files on these people too? I mean, how many Democrats are involved in that? I mean, maybe we ought to start asking that to put pressure on the Democrats and say, look, are you a part of that fucking mess? Because if you are, we want you gone too. Because there should be no fucking, any land or any fucking path given to these people to escape justice, no matter who they are. Like I said, I just got done telling you, the wealthy people. Well, some of them fucking politicians are pretty wealthy, And they go to parties just like everybody else. Some of them probably went into Mar-a-Lago, who knows, once, twice, 3 times, you know, we don't know. Okay, but they went, and they did favors, because I guess Jeffrey Epstein had, you know, some doors open to him in Russia that he could speak to Putin or whatever, or, you know, or there was something said about him being tied in with the, you know, FBI or something like that. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that, you know, in times like this can be spun out of control, but, you know, apparently he was a figure there in national security for some reason. So who knows how deep this goes in our government, but, you know, I have to wonder why there's a lack of momentum here to get this guy, Trump and Ghislaine, you know, to face justice. Okay, no matter who, you know, what side of the party, it doesn't matter. Like I said, this crime does not have a party home. All right, this goes against all fucking moral and ethical compasses in this country. Okay, except for those who share Trump's dirt, as I would say, you know, for those who share his fucking sin. Okay, only those people would support Trump still, but the rest of us, we can't, it's too difficult for us to just sit back and not say anything about it, okay? Because we know it's wrong. Why do we put the law in the fucking books in the first place? And I do think that the statute of limitations on things like this should be erased, okay? It doesn't matter. A victim should be able to come forward at any time in their life to tell the truth, okay? But at the same time, you know, unfortunately, the victim needs to go through the process of collecting the evidence to present, you know, whenever, because, I mean, I realize it's a traumatic thing, but we can't read minds. We can't judge people if they're being honest or not. So what we need is to see things that back the story. That's how we come to conclusions. That's how we find somebody innocent or guilty of a crime. Everybody should have that in their mind, that, look, if something happens to you like that, try to get as much information as you can. Write it down. Do something. Because you may not feel like talking to the cops now, but maybe down the road you might feel more courage to go out and do that, just to go see the police and tell them what happened. So that's why I say there shouldn't be any statute of limitations on sex crimes or anything like that, okay? I don't care if it happened 20, 30, 40 years ago. They should be able to come forward and talk openly to the police about it, okay? And like I said, having evidence on hand is very important to that, especially if you have no intention of saying anything right off. The sooner the better. But yeah, keep all the evidence. I mean, there's whatever you can. I mean, yeah, today it's good people got cameras, they can record things, but oftentimes people are not, you know, recording when crimes happen. So that's when you need to have, you know, the clarity of mind to be able to try to get whatever identity clue, whatever, or evidence you can, you know. All right, let's go to a commercial break and we'll come back.
I'm Alex Curtis, I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Roxy Sugar, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins, I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
Going to commit
commit to anything to you because you won't let me answer questions.
I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous. This guy has Trump derangement syndrome.
I think we get it. You don't want to answer the
No,
question.
you don't get anything regarding public safety.
Y'all, you know we are cooked as a country when our Attorney General brings the same exact intelligence and energy as someone who looks like this. You have Trump derangement syndrome. I mean, I'm laughing because it is terrifying. I never thought in a million years I would ever sympathize with members of Congress. But watching that hearing, I knew exactly how they felt in that moment, having dealt with MAGA for so long. And I know a lot of you feel the same. How many of you have had similar interactions with your crazy drunk uncle over Thanksgiving who gave the same exact responses as Pam Bondi? And you know what's even crazier about the whole thing? I went into watching that hearing fully prepared. Fully prepared. Because at the end of the day, if you thought Donald Trump and his administration, the same Donald Trump who was found liable for sexual assault, was going to find justice for these victims, you might as well hire a termite for the home inspection of your foundation. And yet somehow, some way, Pam Bondi still left me in shock. At one point, a member of Congress was talking about the survivors, and Pam Bondi said, "Why aren't we talking about the stock market?" The survivors were in the room when she said that. The same survivors, by the way, who stood up and Pam Bondi refused to even acknowledge. It was... This simulation is just crazy. Just crazy. They have thrown every pick-me at us. And just when we thought we had reached the final boss, here comes Pam Bondi. He's not going to save you, Pam, no matter how hard you go to bat for him. He will throw you to the wolves the first chance he gets. And I, for one, cannot wait to see it. Because we all know when that time inevitably comes, you're just going to join Marjorie Taylor Greene on her little redemption tour. I was fooled. I was fooled by MAGA into thinking he cared. You are a disgrace. A disgrace. But also, in the same breath, a perfect representation of Donald Trump's America.
Bovino got kicked out of a bar in Las Vegas last weekend. You probably remember him as the former U.S. Border Patrol Commander-at-Large who was removed following the murder of Alex Preddy. The bar, Bottle Blonde, told the Daily Beast that they reserved the right to refuse service to any patron at its discretion, and that once they found out he was there, he was asked to leave for the safety of the patrons. The guy who threw up this hand symbol and then was pulled by the Trump admin for the violence in Minnesota was drinking red wine with his buddies in a club in Vegas not days later. And meanwhile, the murderers of Alex Preddy, Renee Good, and Keith Porter Jr. have not had any charges filed against them. So shout out to this bar for doing the right thing. We can't let anybody involved in this regime get comfortable. Yet Greg Bovino doesn't deserve to have a good time.
DoorDash Girl, the sneaky spy who brings the fries.
She delivers, she discovers, snap and share it all.
Press the crash out button and... I'm the victim! DoorDash Girl, the villain next door.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I
loved it.
It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. I have a video here on this side of the commercials here to play for you, and this is from Really American, and it's about Turning Point USA and Charlie Kirk's wife. I can't remember her fucking name. Sorry. Anyway, it's still developing. And somebody who worked at TPUSA, Turning Point USA, came forward, did a video. She had been fired from working at that organization. I guess she was getting paid pretty good money, so it wasn't some fucking, you know, fly-by-night club, you know, this Turning Point thing. There was money involved here, and she was getting paid pretty good, I guess. But she's getting skeptical, I guess, about things. She notices that Miss Kirk, or, you know, the widow, behaving weird, you know, doing some crazy stuff that, you know, doesn't make any sense. And, you know, she's kind of like, you know, this really sounds like there's something bad going on here that we don't know yet. And apparently she voiced her concern to somebody else, and that got back to her boss, and her boss said, oh, we're changing direction, so we're going to let you go. You know, and he gave her no fucking reason, you know. But anyway, let's go to that video, and then we'll talk about that on the other side.
My name is Aubrey Leitch, and I am the former public relations manager for Turning Point USA. To protect myself, I am going to preface with, Turning Point has not insinuated this. They never told me anything like this. However, I just have a gut feeling that I was terminated from Turning Point because I am questioning the narrative of what happened to my role model and CEO, Charlie Kirk, on the day of his assassination.
Turning Point USA is currently a masterclass on how to ruin a business.
I have to ask you to leave now.
You have to ask me to leave property?
Yes.
Due to what, Frank?
Because we're asking you to leave because you've been terminated and we're not.
But there's no explanation or documentation for this. I've never had one bad review from Dylan. I've never had one issue with the company.
It is a house of cards collapsing on itself from within, and its decline is being expedited by Candace Owens and her ongoing feud with Erica Kirk. And at the center of it all are conspiracies about Turning Point USA and Erica Kirk being behind Charlie Kirk's assassination.
Straight to jail. For questioning at least Erica.
What the actual so much to get into here. So make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoy and want more of these stories that the mainstream media just doesn't seem to touch. And let's just dive right into this. So this has all been simmering for a while. We covered the feud on the channel previously in another video, but it has reached yet another boiling point today because the Bulwark dropped this report titled Candace Owens Gets Inside TPUSA's Head. Her nutty theories about the killing of Charlie Kirk have won over some of his organization's employees, like you saw in the beginning. That led to this reporting from Raw Story. Turning Point USA purges staff as insiders spread wild Charlie Kirk theories. And the first part of this wild wormhole centers around Turning Point USA communication staffer Aubrey Leitch, who apparently, according to her, was called into a meeting last month and abruptly told she was being fired, according to a video she posted online last week.
Fast forward to my termination, which took place about 3 weeks ago, and I was brought into an office to have a discussion just generally about my employment. It was myself, Andrew Colvett, and Marina Muniz, who is the CMO of Turning Point USA, who I used to work for when I was just full-time with Turning Point prior to joining the ATK company. They pulled me into a room and they sat me down and told me that there were 2 instances they wanted to talk to me about.
That full video will be linked down below if you want to check it out, as well as all the sources here. But essentially, in her telling, she said she was fired over a convoluted story about an Uber ride that essentially went like this.
Which was an Uber ride that took place allegedly in the months of either October or November of 2025. And what was told to me was that a Turning Point executive got into an Uber one day and they randomly just kind of started talking about Turning Point. And the executive asked the driver, what do you think about Turning Point? And the driver proceeded to tell the Turning Point executive, well, it's just really sad. I've heard the organization's really going downhill. There's not really a direction and nobody likes Erica. And the Turning Point executive proceeded to ask this Uber driver, well, who told you that? And the Uber driver told the Turning Point executive that his daughter was good friends with a girl that worked at Turning Point way back when in high school. They had spoken about Turning Point since Charlie's assassination, and that, this was told to him by his daughter. And the Turning Point executive, of course, asked, well, what's the employee's name? And the Uber driver allegedly said, Aubrey. Aubrey who? Aubrey Leitch. And the story was presented to me as one of the reasons for my termination.
But Leish wasn't buying it, then offering up her explanation of what she thinks happened.
So I've known Erica for quite some time, and my thoughts of her and nobody liking her do not align whatsoever with that timeline of October or November. So that was one of Turning Point's reasons for letting me go. So unlike my peers, I actually was given reason. However, there's another thing I kind of want to dive into. To protect myself, I am going to preface with Turning Point has not insinuated this. They never told me anything like this. However, I just have a gut feeling that I was terminated from Turning Point because I am questioning the narrative of what happened to my role model and CEO, Charlie Kirk, on the day of his assassination. What is being told to us in the mainstream media just really doesn't add up to me. And I'm really hopeful that one day it will, but as it stands right now, it just doesn't. And so I've been here in the background talking with people, expressing how I truly feel, because as an American citizen, I have the right to my freedom of speech and my freedom of thought. And I have a lot of concerns and a lot of questions about what took place that day and the events leading up to that day. It is from my own experience that you can't question the narrative and work at Turning Point.
Leish is just one of several Turning Point staffers who has been fired amid what's being dubbed a purge of employees. And while it's not clear how many have been let go, Owens has played audio on her show of another staffer who claimed to have been fired without explanation.
I never spoke to this employee once, never anything at all. Period. Not one of my sources, nothing. So this can't be related to me. I don't think it's related to me, but let's take a listen anyways, because they're all convinced they're just paranoid and firing a bunch of people. Take a listen.
I mean, Frank, this is kind of wild.
I understand where you're coming from.
I know, and I know best to be here. And
yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I'm not really content leaving for the day without further documentation, explanation, anything.
I understand, but it's time to go. We're just going to say today's the last day. And you will receive your year-end bonus from your performance for the year. So that will be in that paycheck too.
Okay. So, I mean,
yeah,
this is crazy.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
No, and I know you're going to keep saying that. I understand. Yeah. Like, I know that.
No, I know.
And I know there's probably no magic string of words that I could piece together to procure some type of answer. But yeah. I think on a surface level, like, I'm not going to walk out of here until I say my piece. Like, I mean, y'all know this. I just worked a series of 80, 90-hour weeks plus for AmFest.
Yeah, I think
I've had no direction or explanation since we've come back. Our CEO has been assassinated. I've done nothing but bend over backwards for this organization, to the point where I'm wondering if this is a prank.
It's not a prank. I would never do that.
So I'm just trying to understand. And
No, I understand. It's time to.
so do
it's
I
time
get to have a conversation with Dylan? Do I get to have a conversation with Justin or anybody or?
Nope.
No. And there's no explanation as to why I'm going to let go.
Right now, we're leaving all.
And you're going to keep saying a different direction, but I'm trying to understand how I've met multiple times with my.
We're going a different direction with the team, and I have to ask you to leave now.
You have to ask me to leave the property?
Yes,
Due to what, Frank?
because we're asking you to leave because you've been terminated and we're not.
But there's no explanation or documentation for this. I've never had one bad review from Dylan. I've never had one issue with the company. I've never done anything unethical. And so I'm sitting here understanding why my entire livelihood is being completely tossed out. I mean, so there's going to be absolutely no explanation as to why I'm terminated. So when I go to my next job, I can't explain as to why this chapter is closed.
We're going a different direction.
That's not an explanation, Frank.
It's the explanation what we're providing now
Providing from who?
from the organization.
From who, though? Justin? From Dylan?
From the organization. I only speak for the organization. I don't.
So different direction means what? Losing people that bend their backwards for the organization, losing people that would be willing to do anything for the organization, losing people that haven't done anything wrong. Like,
I understand what you're saying, and we'll take on it, but right now it's time for you to go. And so I've taken the time to say a piece, and now it's time for you to go. So,
like how? Okay. Well, this is.
I honestly can't even imagine this at all. 80 to 90 hour weeks. Your CEO just got publicly assassinated and you've not stopped working since. You think you're going in because they're going to be like, hey, we've made $250 million and like, we see you. And they say, we're moving in a different direction.
And apparently there is now a GoFundMe for staffers booted in the TPUSA purge that has raised more than $71,000 as of reporting this morning. The Bulwark points out that it's hard to say if these firings are being driven by the very sensible disapproval of staff talking about their company killing its founder, or paranoia about Owens having credible information about internal TPUSA activities, or both. But clearly, someone within the organization is leaking to Owens. Just this year, the highly controversial podcaster posted videos of Erica Kirk on internal video chats in the wake of Kirk's assassination that were interpreted on the online right as insufficiently mournful. And it just gets crazier. Owens already received a cease and desist order from TPUSA in January for spreading conspiracy theories about Kirk's death, but she seems undeterred by it. Just wait. I'll play the clip. Nor does she seem tripped up by the non-disparagement agreement she signed with the organization from when she was employed there that could make her theories even more legally perilous. On her Tuesday show, Owens quipped that if Erica Kirk had been killed instead of Charlie, and if Charlie then acted as Erica Kirk is acting now in the wake of his assassination, he would be on trial for his wife's murder. One of these theories that was going viral this week was, I guess, what's being dubbed like Picturegate, because in a frame of Erica Kirk on the show, people noticed that she had removed and replaced the wedding photo of her and Charlie in the background of their home studio.
Picturegate. Who put that picture away? That's what they want to know. So Charlie's last live appearance before he was assassinated was from his home studio, at least, was on September 8th. Here is that wedding photo behind him, which you can see. Then fast forward to December 12th, and as a part of her Shabbat Shalom PR Blitz, she conducted her very first interview from Charlie's home office. She was playing the part, as you are about to see, of this is my first time back in his office. And yet, curiously, that wedding photo is missing.
I have not been in here for a very long time, and I've just been, that's part of the reason why I keep looking down. It's not because I'm not wanting to look at you, it's because like there are so many treasures in here.
If this really is your first time in his office, the first time looking down at his desk, who moved the frame behind his head? The internet's immediate reaction, they said Erica removed it. But I would like to push back on that notion. I do not accept that option at all. That would be the exact opposite of the very intentional PR messaging that has come out of Turning Point USA since Charlie died. So that really only leaves us with one other option. And that option would be that Charlie himself moved the frame on the 9th, the day before his assassination. And what would have happened thereafter is Erica simply didn't realize it.
And Candace has now taken this so far that she started her show the other day saying Erica Kirk should be dragged into a police precinct for questioning. And she offered this new take on why she thinks Erica is complicit in this.
Look, I have seen enough, ladies and gentlemen. I've seen enough. Erica Kirk should be dragged into a police precinct for questioning. The amount of evidence that is now piling up, I would say against Erica Kirk, is almost akin to an NBC Dateline episode, except it's actually more simplified than that. So yesterday and last week, we introduced to you Erica's best friend for over 15 years, a woman by the name of Tracy Martin. Now, we were working off of a tip that Tracy may have been with Erica when Erica got the call from Elizabeth and Mikey McCoy, because they were both on the phone, even though that was never revealed to the public until later. Tracy, I am told, because she's privatized her public profiles, but I am told that she has denied that claim. Okay, let's assume Tracy's telling the truth and that she was not with Erica on September 10th. That's not even relevant to what we're about to reveal to you, because what Tracy cannot deny is that her daughter is indeed Erica's assistant. I have confirmed that. And I want to be very clear here that this young woman did nothing wrong. She's not done anything wrong. I'm intentionally choosing not to name her daughter because I don't want people to stalk her, to reach out to her, or to try to learn anything about her life. She, like I said, has done nothing wrong. And in many ways, she's just beginning her life, okay? However, it is a fact that she was supposed to go to UVU on September 10th. I remind you, this is Erica's assistant. And it sort of tracks, given Erica's public admission, that she too was considering going. But remember, Charlie told her, home needs you. Home needs you. So she was instead going to go meet him at the next event, which was in Colorado, slated for later that week. Charlie did not want her to go to the UVU event because the kids needed her. Home needs her. But he totally wanted her to become the chairman and the CEO of the company in his absence, right? Like that totally tracks. That makes perfect sense. Anyway. But the reason that Erica's assistant and her mother, Tracy, Erica's best friend, told people in their orbit something quite interesting, actually. The reason that they told her that they didn't go is different from the reason that Erica didn't go, obviously. Tracy and her daughter told people that Tracy had a bad feeling. Like I told you, we've confirmed that. Tracy had a bad feeling, and so she stopped her daughter from going to UVU. This is now confirmed. It's a fact. Charlie Kirk is high on life over a routine college event, and now he's up and pacing around the house, not in fear, just in excitement. This is like Disney World for him, going to UVU. Oddly, however, what we can confirm to you is Erica's best friend and her assistant did have fear for some reason. Charlie's good. He's excited, but they had fear. For some reason, Tracy Martin told her daughter, who's Erica's assistant, not to go to this event. They pull her back because Tracy senses danger. But if that's just mommy intuition, are we to believe that she did this? She pulled her daughter back from this event and she declined to share that overwhelming mommy intuition with her best friend whose husband was going to the event? That seems selfish to me. Are we also to believe that Erica wasn't interested in asking her assistant why she wasn't going to do her job, to work?
I said it in the last video, I'll say it again. I'm not a fan of either of these women. I do enjoy seeing the MAGA infighting, though. And I'll tell you, folks, I fell down doing research for this, a rabbit hole of Candace's, YouTube channel. And every single video, sans maybe one or two, in the last 5 or 6 days, but this has been going on for weeks, it's all Erica Kirk. It's all Turning Point. It's all Charlie and Erica Kirk. It's like the wormhole is never ending, and she seems so undeterred despite the cease and desist and all this other stuff. And I kind of hate to root for Candace Owens in this matter, but watching her lob these conspiracy theories that are very easy for people to buy into because of how suspicious Erica Kirk has been, how shady Turning Point has been, as you see in those clips. I mean, I can't help but hope that she somehow plays a role in taking down Turning Point USA, or at least hindering their ability to function as a company. I mean, it is utter insanity, but that is where I will pass the question off to you. Do you guys believe the things that Candace Owens is saying? I know Erica Kirk makes it very believable with just how she's acting and how she's grieved and the way Turning Point is functioning and the massive amounts of fundraising and money they're bringing in while simultaneously treating their employees like garbage and firing them for seemingly no reason. It is all just so shady. I mean, we pointed that out in our video too about the Turning Point USA alternative halftime show, about how it really was just a cash grab to ride off the Super Bowl hype and then beg for donations afterwards. It just seems like everything this company has done ever since Charlie Kirk's assassination has been mired in controversy and just shady dealings. So I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you do care about this stuff, if you want us to keep covering the Candace Owens and Erica Kirk drama, then let me know, because honestly, I'm kind of happy too. Like, it is fucking nuts. But yeah, that is it for Really American. I'm Kenny Hassel. I'll see you guys in the next one.
I find it interesting that they were showing how that picture, the wedding picture, just kind of disappeared not long after he, it does kind of give you pause. Because she does a video in the same room that Charlie, her husband, Erica's husband, did, and behind her there's the books and all that, but there's minus a picture, a wedding picture there that was there before he was assassinated, and now it's gone. Now, I mean, I'm sure there's a million explanations for that, but it just looks kind of troubling on the surface that, why would you take that picture down? I mean, maybe she wanted to put it in some memento somewhere, or what, a bunch of other, who knows? But it does look kind of suspicious. Okay. And, this whole thing really has to be about the money. Think about that. None of this stuff would probably be happening under all this air of suspicion if there wasn't a great deal of money involved. Like I said, they're paying these people to work for TPUSA. So I'm not really sure how much money this outfit has, but apparently there's enough there to pay wages, to do things. Now, this woman here, Aubrey Leach, obviously she's an equally vile animal to even follow a guy like Charlie Kirk and get a job with him. But, it's just that even to some of these animals, there comes a point where things don't look right and they just feel like, I don't know if I'm on the right team here. Erica Kirk could be up to something here. She's turning the whole company around inside out. Okay, she's letting people go who have problems with her. Okay, so if we're feeling, people on the outside of the box here, outside of TPUSA, if we're feeling like there's something fishy going on, and they're inside the box and they're thinking there's something fishy going on, hello? Like they said, why don't the police go and get her, bring her in for questioning, and find out what in the hell is going on here, But, the thing of it is they got the person, supposedly, I guess, that shot Charlie Kirk, and in their minds, I guess the case is closed, okay? And I don't know if they decided, could this guy have been hired? And if he did, who was the one who hired the person, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, but it seemed like the case was open and shut, pretty quick after the fact. And you got Erica Kirk herself, making demands for a speedy trial. It's like usually the victim won't ask for a speedy trial because they want the investigation to be thorough. But no, she wants this whole thing gone and out of the public eye. Why? She's made a move into Charlie's company. She put herself at the head of it. And she's been going around, pretending to be the crying widow, okay, and saying some peculiar things and doing peculiar things. And people at TPUSA are saying, this isn't right. I don't know what the hell what's going on here. We don't see much grieving out of this person. and she's in control of all our money, you know. And like I said, I think that's probably the big chunk of the reason why, you know, she's doing this is that money. She wants that fucking money, okay, and she wants to build on it. But at the same time, she's ruining TPUSA, which I don't care. She can ruin it all she wants. That's an asinine fucking out organization. It should die, along with Charlie. Okay, but she wants to turn that into, you know, I think into some kind of a comfortable source of an income, so she can continue to live as high on the hog as she ever has. Okay, I mean, I think that's what it is. So people inside this outfit are getting very upset with her and you know, and starting to think conspiracy there, you know, like they always do, okay? And now she's getting upset that people are doubting her, you know, her intentions. They're doubting what she's saying. They're doubting her attitude. They think she's putting on a front, putting on a show. She's always at all these goddamn, you know, wherever there's a fucking TV camera or something, she's everywhere. You know, it's almost like she's trying to advertise TPUSA like Charlie himself hadn't done it. Okay, we already know about it. But she's out there, it seems like, campaigning, you know, for this thing. And all we can say is, you know, why is she so focused so much on that and not about anything that happened? Why isn't she focused on getting justice for her slain husband? You know, what the hell's going on there? And like I said, yeah, it's people that have a right. I mean, Candace Owens, of all people, makes a good point there that, you know, the police ought to be fucking saying, hey, we want you in here for questioning. We need to clear up some stuff here. We need to understand better what you're doing. Okay, because you're looking awful suspicious. You know. And I'm not really sure what Candace Owens' motive is maybe it's getting her a lot of attention on the internet, that she's talking so much about this, and she's been so itching for people to view her stuff, that maybe this has been like a hot button she just stepped into, and now she sees, oh, everybody's tuning in to hear what I got to say about this bitch. You know, so now I'm going to talk more about it. Like the guy was saying, how many videos recently that Candace Owens has been putting out there concerning TPUSA. Everybody's been glued to that. Even Democrats have been listening to what she has to say. For the first time now, she's almost at the top of the fucking viewer thing, you know, on YouTube, okay? But, like I said, her motives are very, you know, dubious. You know, she's just probably capitalizing on that for her own benefit. I mean, this is what Republicans do, okay? People in MAGA. They step on each other's necks to get to the top of the ladder. Okay, so it's one of those things where somebody would tell you grab the popcorn and watch the shit show, because, you know, this isn't going to die down quietly. It's going to go on and on and on for weeks until something comes out, until Erica slips up or Candace Owens hits something on the head there, and, you know, it sparks some kind of a big feud between TPUSA and Owens. Who fucking knows? But it's bound to be entertaining. And at the same time, I mean, I could care less who gets left behind in this, which is the real victim here, which is Charlie Kirk. I could care less if if everybody overlooks that, because he got, in my mind, he asked for what he got. You know, you go around doing and saying things like he was saying, you know, somebody somewhere along the way is going to flip out and come after you, okay? Even if it's your wife. Okay, it's been known to happen. Watch the fucking true crime stories on TV. You're gonna find a lot of wives kill their husbands for insurance money, for just money, for status, or another lover. It happens, people. There's a history of it. So just because it's Erica Kirk doesn't make her, you know, somebody who could never do something like that. You know. It only takes the right thing, you know, for somebody of her mentality, I would imagine. And then, like I said, money is the thing. The two of them, her and her husband, you know, might have had a falling out at some point, kept it under wraps. You know, that's possible. People, you know, marriages can end pretty bad. they can end in big fights and everything like that, you know, and who knows? I mean, it could have been as easy as her asking somebody to pop them, you know, who knows? I mean, it's possible. And now she can be the beneficiary of all the assets. So, I don't know. Like I said, it still leaves that question open. What is the motive? Why is she acting this way? Why is Erica Kirk doing all these things and going after people that don't agree with what she's been doing, and actually voicing some suspicion on her part? You know, just wondering why this is going on. You know, why is she acting this way? It's you know, like I said, more drama will come out of this. It ain't over yet, but more people. This will either kill TPUSA for good, okay? Which, hey, that's good for me. Or someone is going to kick over a rock and find something there that's going to bring a whole new fucking spotlight on this whole thing. Either one or the other is going to happen, okay? So we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, I hope everybody has a great weekend. So please subscribe, comment, share, and keep your ears open for any health issues out there. And, you know, help each other out. We're all Americans at the end of the day. And as American citizens, we have to be prepared for bad days. And we have to be prepared to help one another when you can. So I will talk to you later. So take care, everybody.